Hi, my name is Joseph and I work for INSBU at Cisco. And today I wanted to take a moment to show some work that I've been doing with SCVMM and ACI integration, but more towards automating that process. If you go to the public Cisco.com website that you see here, there's a very detailed integration design and deployment guide. And if you scroll through this, you'll see that there's quite a number of what I'll call manual steps in terms of making that integration work, including some PowerShell commandlets. Effectively, what we need to do is we need to first generate a certificate on the SCVMM machine, copy that certificate over to each of the Hyper-V hosts that are being managed by SCVMM, and then take the x.509 certificate output, log into the APIC GUI, and copy that over into a certificate object under the admin account. As I said, all of that stuff is quite manual. I wanted to write a script in PowerShell to automate a lot of that, and that's what I'd like to show you today. So I've written my PowerShell script, and this script is quite basic because I'm a beginner, but what it does is it goes through the process of generating the certificate for you. It does take user input, so it's interactive. You need to make sure that you have some of those details with you ahead of time. It has some basic, let's say, sanity checking as well. If a certificate called Opflex agent already exists, it will look for that and delete it. Or if an object in APIC called Opflex agent certificate exists, it will go ahead and overwrite that. So it doesn't really matter if this is a clean, fresh, new install of SCVMM and Hyper-V, or if it's an existing install and you just wanted to go through the process again, let's say for some lab or some demonstration. So let's actually get right to the script and I'll show you here. So I've got my script. It's a PowerShell script. You need to be in a PowerShell window as an administrator, and the script will try to give you some indication of that. So when we kick it off, you can see that it's designed to be run on the server where you have SCVMM installed. That's important. The second important thing beyond being in PowerShell as an admin is you have to have already installed the APIC SCVMM agent on this Windows server, on this SCVMM server already. And you can get that from the APIC area of Cisco.com downloads. So the tool will actually check to see if you've installed it in a basic way. So as you can see here, it will show you, if it shows the list of the ACI specific commandlets in the tool, then we can verify that the SCVMM agent has been installed. The next line down here, as you see, is if you see an Opflex agent certificate details like you see here, it means that the script checked for the local search store and looked for a certificate called Opflex agent and found one, and it actually removed it. Now a point about that is you can generate endless certs and call them all Opflex agent, and the Windows server will happily import all of them, and that could create some confusion and redundancy because we really only need the one active cert that we're using. So I had my script go ahead and clean out any existing ones to keep things easier. If you don't see the certificate information like you see here, it means that it looked for a cert, didn't find one, so let's go ahead and move on. So this is where the interactive part begins. So there's a prompt here that is asking for a password. We need to set a certificate password here. So we need to type it in. So I'll go ahead and type in my certificate password here. Then there are certain things, fields that are needed to generate this cert, and so it's going to ask you one by one what you want for each of those fields. So I'll go ahead and very quickly input that information. And once I hit enter, what will happen is the script will issue the commandlet in the background to generate the certificate. It will show you the output of the certificate here, and normally you would have to manually copy and paste that into APIC, but you don't need to do that anymore with this script. So the script, if you give it the input of APIC, it will log into APIC and actually place the certificate for you, or overwrite an existing certificate called Opflex agent. So we're going to have to put in the username. In this case, it will always be admin. Enter the password and the IP address of APIC. So that's done, right? We've made the RESTful API call, and APIC now has a copy of the cert. Now the final step is we need to copy this cert and make it exportable for all of the Hyper-V hosts that are being managed with SCVMM. So if we input the machine names, the Windows machine names of those Hyper-V hosts, and if you have more than one, It's just a comma separated value. So I'm going to go ahead and input the names of my two Hyper-V hosts that I have, separated by a comma. And what will happen is it will go out and connect to each of those, and it will actually give you a response, and it will say, okay, I've copied this cert successfully, and it will show you again the certificate thumbprint and information, and it will do that for each host. And that actually ends the automation part of the script. What used to take me, say, 15 minutes or so to do this manually, I can now do in, let's say, less than 30 seconds with my script, and I can do this for multiple machines, as many as I want. So if we go ahead and we take a look at the admin account in APIC, we'll actually see that we have our Opflex agent and we have our certificate. This one happens to end in JNCK capital N, and if you look here, you can see that it is exactly the same certificate. So that's my first run at learning PowerShell as a beginner, but I hope this is a useful script that will allow you to make your SCVMM and ACI integrations much more quick and much more successful. Thank you.